fix the camera there. Welcome to round 20 in the AFL weekend review with me, the Donfather. First of all, on Friday night, it was the 2nd of August 2019 at the Marvel Stadium. North Melbourne were taking on the Hawks. North Melbourne were 14th going into this, and Hawks 11th. North Melbourne ended up winning 86-64. Fantastic win for them. It was something they definitely needed after 3 straight defeats. I put the Hawks down for a win actually in this one, so that's 2 losses in a row now for the Hawks. They very much are like that. They're another one of those teams. Power, Dylan. Well done to the Power. I'll get to them. Thanks very much for joining, mate. Thanks very much to the other people that are joining as well. So great one for North anyway on Friday night there. 86-64, 22-point victory. And that'll do them the world of good. That's them in 13th now in the ladder, and they're not completely out of it. Ladar Phoenix, yep, that's right, my man. Right, Peter George, how's it going? So that's a good win for you anyway. That drops the Hawks down into 12th from 11th. Hi, mate. Go Roos. It is right though. That team song as well, it was fantastic. So on to Saturday then, the first of Saturday's games was the Bombers versus the Power. 2 Power supporters here. What can I say? Absolutely demolished them. There was no one that seen that one coming. Not that scoreline anyway. Do you know what? You can't rule the Power out of. On their day, they're a really, really good side. But they're not on their game all the time, are they? Very inconsistent there. And off the back of 3 defeats, I definitely put them down for a defeat in this one. Because the Bombers, 5 wins in a row, going for number 6. I thought, yep, it's going to happen. How wrong was I? The defeat actually does keep the Bombers in 7th place. And the Power now jump from 10th to 9th, so fantastic for them. The 2 Adelaide sides now, 8th and 9th, not much between them either. Really interesting over the next few weeks to see how this is going to pan out. The scoreline finished 67 to 126 for the Power, and you're right, Xavier Duursma, absolutely outstanding goal from about the boundary line there, away out wide, and the celebration of the arrow. I absolutely can't get enough of it. Fantastic to see a young man with so much confidence. Of course, he got a lot of abuse last week as well because he did the celebration and obviously the Power were beat, so it never really. You obviously, when you're doing a celebration like that, you're kind of being a little bit cocky. You should be doing it in a victory, but do you know what? I don't care about that. He's obviously a very, very confident young man, but also a very gifted young player. He's a player I really like watching. Players to mention in that there as well as Robbie Gray, absolutely unbelievable. What a player! Like that, as I say, the Power have it in their locker to be one of the best teams in the AFL. They just don't do it enough. But Essendon, that's probably brought them back down to the ground with a bump. Boss Roy, hello everyone that's joining. Cam the Crows, Evan. Well, we'll get to that. So that was Essendon Power. On to the Giants Swans now. I watched this game. This was the one I watched. I couldn't get Essendon Port Adelaide here in the UK through BT Sport because they were actually showing the Giants Swans game, the 18th Sydney Derby. It wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a great game. Very, very tight one. The Giants came out 2-point victors, finished 83-81. I did do a review on it, so I'm not going to go into too much details. That's 3 wins in a row now for the Giants. Do you know what? They're starting to find a little bit of form, aren't they? Swans now with 5 straight defeats. Doesn't look good for them. Both teams stay in the same positions in the ladder. Giants stay in 5th and Swans stay in 15th. It was in the Giants Stadium, but it was an arm wrestle. It was a match of, it was a pure tug of war, really, wasn't it? Back and forward if you watch the game, but not a lot between the 2 sides. And to lose if you were a Swans fan by 2 points is never very good. But overall, it could have went either way. But overall, I do think the Giants did slightly edge it. Now for another shock. This goes against, I think, what everybody expected. We were out in the Optus Stadium out in West Australia for the Dockers versus the Cats, I think most people would have thought the Cats were going to go and win this. I wouldn't say by a landslide victory, but certainly get the win. How wrong were we all? The Dockers were absolutely phenomenal. I think Nat Fyfe had one of his performances of his season so far. 95-61. You're talking, there's a 34-point margin. What's that? About 6 goals nearly. Unbelievable performance by the Dockers anyway, and it jumps them up to 10th spot, and they could start believing they could get in there again as well. The Cats remain on top by a slim margin. I know Frio of ours, as you mentioned, I'm just going over it now. Hi Leanne, how's it going? Great win for you as well. I've not got to that one yet anyway, but we will. So fantastic victory for the Dockers. I was quite happy to see it because it blows the whole top of the ladder wide open. I'm not going to say the points just yet because I'm going to get to the other score lines, but the Cats really have. Listen to this. Last 6 weeks, and it can go back even further, but 6 weeks that I've done, lost one, lost one, lost one. They really can't buy a victory right now, can they? Do you know what? I'm depending on who they're playing next week. I might actually go against them because they've been letting me down quite a lot with my predictions. So I'm taking the angry head with the Geelong. But anyway, Melbourne and Richmond. Nobody expected Melbourne to get the victory here. They remain in 17th. They did lose, of course. That's 4 defeats in a row for the D's. And 6 wins on the bounce for Richmond, who are looking in fine form. They won the game by 33 points. It finished 93-60. It was at the MCG, and I think the next few weeks are going to be at the MCG. So I think, Dylan, my man, thank you very, very much. A donation there. Thank you, mate. Of course, you already do enough with doing the sponsorships as well. That's really greatly appreciated, mate. Thank you. Sorry, my predictions are so bad. One day, I might get nine right. Who knows? I was close to it a couple of weeks ago, I think, or last week. I got 2 wrong or 1 wrong, but this week really was just the most unpredictable week. I backed, as you said, I was being a bit of a pussy, and I backed the clear favourites. I wasn't aware that they were actually the clear favourites until you told me. But, you know, looking at it now, I wish to hell I never. North Melbourne straight away blew the coupon away. But anyway, that's besides the point. Once the coupon's over and there's no money to be won, I just like to sit back, relax, and enjoy the footy with no worries about it because it's already done and dusted. The bet's over. But Richmond, as I say, won by 33 points. They're looking ominous now, aren't they? Their handball game is absolutely frightening. You're right, Leanne. Everybody's footy tipping, I could imagine. Even the pros, people that have been in the game for years, are absolutely... Nobody's getting a clean sweep at all, really, I think, at this weekend in particular. But that win actually keeps the Demons in 17th, kind of as you were, really, in this game, because Richmond stay in 4th, but very much in the mix to claim top spot before we get to the knockouts as well. So, congratulations to them. Anyway, they're playing lovely stuff. On to the Crows now. Somebody's mentioned Cam. The Crows, they've done really well. They needed this win. The last 2 weeks prior, they've lost, haven't they? They won in between that, and the West Coast are building quite nicely. I've not got to the West Coast yet either. I will get to the West Coast and cover them too. So the Crows won by 22 points over St Kilda, 92-70. Great win for them. They've needed to bounce back there. It was at home. It was at the Adelaide Oval. St Kilda are off the back. Weren't they 2 wins? I actually put the Crows to win this one because I do feel that it was kind of a bit of a honeymoon period for the Saints. They had their chances. I did watch the highlights of that one, but the highlights I really wanted to watch was Power versus Essendon because it was absolutely mental. Nearly twice the score of Essendon, which was quite remarkable. But Crows, they got the job done. That was the main thing. They remain in 8th by the skin of their teeth, and St Kilda dropped from 13th to 14th. So not much movement there at all either. Now, Leanne, on to the Magpies. Just when they've needed really Gold Coast Suns to come along, they went and got it. Just really, Pendlebury, do you know what? I watched the tail end of it. I've got to be honest, Pendlebury is an absolute joy to watch. What a magnificent footy player he is. Obviously, you had said to me the week before he might have been missing through finger surgery. He wasn't. He played. He was fantastic. And again, he's absolutely amazing, isn't he? A really, really enjoyable player to watch. They remain in sixth after this one. They've won 120-51 today. I actually got a clean sweep on my Sunday's predictions. I didn't think there was going to be any major upsets in that, and I was proved right, but we'll get to it anyway. Of course, Gold Coast Suns have lost 415,000 games in a row now, so they're absolutely abysmal. Something needs to be done and drastic, but we won't get into that. They remain in 18th, and Collingwood remain in 6th. As I say, no movement there either, but fantastic win. It's something Collingwood needed, and they also needed in terms of percentages, getting them up there. Good win, but a predictable one. Carlton then, for a moment you thought maybe they might have done something, but it turned out the West Coast Eagles are just too strong. They've won away out there at the Marvel Stadium. They've travelled all the way over to the Marvel and got the away win. Good win, really, to be fair, because Carlton have actually been playing some nice stuff. They were going, I think, for, 5 or 6 wins out of 7. So not a team to be taken for granted. They won the 3 games leading up to it as well, and I know the Eagles had won the 2, lost, and won 2. They were both going into it at 4 wins out of 5, so form, both of them on equal form, but I just feel that the West Coast Eagles forward line, a lot like Richmond, I think Richmond are another one, that the forward line is absolutely frightening. Any one of those guys, particularly Lynch for Richmond, he's someone I really enjoy watching, are dangerous. But the West Coast Eagles are probably more ruthless, and the one thing you'll say that they have in their favour is their premiers. They are the reigning champions, and they know how to do it right now as we're getting into the nitty-gritty business end of the campaign. The West Coast Eagles have got the experience of doing it now, so they are looking ominous as well. Who knows what could happen? They remain in 2nd, and Carlton remain in 16th. I think that's probably it for Carlton now. I knew that they weren't going to get top 8 anyway, but I would say that, it's just about saving a bit of face now, getting a bit of pride, hopefully getting a couple of wins if you're a Blues fan, and that's just pretty much it. I think that's the best they can hope for, is just put a bit of pride back into the team. And Lynch was Gold Coast captain last year, if you didn't know, since no one wants to play there. No one wants to play there. Lynch was absolutely incredible. What a steal that is then. Absolutely huge loss for the Suns, because he's absolutely ridiculously good. On to the last game. I've watched it live there. Absolutely brilliant game. The Lions came out victorious. They have jumped from 3rd to 2nd. West Coast Eagles, I put the West Coast Eagles saying they were 2nd. They're not. They're now 3rd. The Lions have jumped up into 2nd, I think. Percentages, is that correct? I don't know Don't know about that one anyway. One of the 2 teams is 2nd. They're all on the same points. Them and Geelong, they're all on the same points. It's just down to percentages now. But that's 7 wins in a row now for the Lions. Absolutely incredible. What could they achieve? Could they do it? If they back themselves and they believe, why not? I think everybody's kind of writing off their chances because they're an inexperienced side. But all that being said, they've got quality throughout the squad. They've now got momentum on their side. All they need is belief and just fear no one. Go out there and just battle for it and win. This was a battle today. They won by 18 points, 98-80 for the Lions over the Doggies. And you know what? I enjoyed the Doggies today as well. I thought they played really good stuff. They just rushed themselves when they got into the Lions half of things. They just rushed kicks. They never took their time. Even in front of goal, they just snapped at it rather than just taking their time. That little split second to just line up the shot and execute it. And I think that's what let them down. They done the same against Collingwood when they lost to Collingwood. I thought the Doggies were better than Collingwood a few weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. And it was down to the same thing, just not being able to score. Collingwood's defence that day was frighteningly good as well, though. But if the Doggies had just been a little bit more clinical in front of goal and clinical with things that they've done today as well, passing and not rushing the play. They could have very much won the game today. Really good performance. Lions did deserve the win overall. I think they were clean with the way they played. They were strong. There were some big hits in this game as well. Really physical game. Great battle. I think the Doggies have actually beat them the last 5 or 6 games, they said. So this is something the Lions would be really fired up to try and change that run of form between these two teams. And right enough they have. I think the best player in the park was either Bontempelli. Well, he had an absolutely frightening game. McRae was good in the midfield as well. I think they were probably the 2 best players on the field to play. Lachie Neale, he is fantastic, but he was quite quiet in terms of his own individual count, but he's just an unbelievable leader. I think he chipped in with a couple of goals as well. Very, very good player. Charlie Cameron with 4 goals, I think, as well. Hipwood as well. Is it Hipwood you call him? The big, tall, young fella. He kicked 2 or 3. They were just good in front of goal today, Lions, and they thoroughly deserved their win. So great weekend of footy. The most unpredictable victors and score lines. So winners this weekend were North, Power, Giants, Dockers, Richmond, Crows, Collingwood, West Coast Eagles and the Lions. So congratulations to all them. That rounds up the weekend's footy. I hope you've enjoyed the weekend's footy. We're really getting into some exciting the last few weeks before September, before the knockouts, and I'm really starting to enjoy it now. As you all know, I'm new to it. I've not experienced this before, and it's absolutely brilliant. Some great games. Probably the biggest result in terms of shock was Freo. Best game was probably Power Essendon. Yeah, and for scoreline, Power Essendon was probably the best one. Biggest shocks, probably the Dockers over the Cats. But the most enjoyable game, I would say, is probably the Lions Bulldogs. If you watched it, really good game of footy. I did see the highlights to a couple of the other ones. I will go over all the highlights over the weekend just to get myself up to date with goal scorers, etc. I'm not sure who is leading. I think Treloar is still flying in the disposal count. Of course, big Jeremy Cameron for the Giants missed out. Ben Brown's hit a right few goals this weekend, so he's closed up in the gap for the Coleman race, the Coleman medal race. It was a shame to not see Big Cameron in because he's a player I'm really enjoying watching. His goal kicking sublime. Don't know what he's on now. Is he 55 goals or something like that? 56 goals. Really great goal kickers, the 2 of them. Some controversial decisions as well. What game was it where there was a goal given it shouldn't? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Finals footy is completely different. I know I will absolutely love it because, if it really is. If you turn up on the day, you'll get the win. It's not a marathon like the ladder. You're getting into the knockout now. You just need to put everything into the game on the day. Turn up and try your hardest to get the win, and that's it. Like that could be the difference. Some people might get stage fright. The occasion might get the better of them. This is where I think Brisbane Lions, people feel Brisbane Lions kind of drop into that category, don't they? They're in uncharted waters really right now. They've never done it before. That's what people are kind of saying could work against them. I would actually say differently. If they back themselves, they have definitely got the quality to go out and be premiers this year. They've been absolutely amazing. I think if you're talking about experience, you'll never outrule the West Coast Eagles. Richmond are probably playing the nicest stuff. Geelong, what is going to happen with Geelong? I don't know. They're absolutely all over the place. It's crazy to think from when I started tuning in, they were the team you backed for a guaranteed win. And everything's just going kind of wrong there. Can you call them being top of the ladder the problem? I don't know. Like they're guaranteed knockout footy, so is it a problem? I don't know. You would certainly want to be going into it with the kind of form like you see the Lions, Richmond, and indeed kind of Essendon as well. Collingwood haven't got great form on their side either, but they're a big team. They've been and done it in and around the latter stages of these tournaments over the years so many times. They just need to get their hands on that silverware, don't they? So very, very good. Zorko, absolutely fantastic. He's got injured, is he? Never seen his injury. Great player though. As I say, really good weekend of footy. Who was your player of the weekend then? Who was your favourite player over the weekend? Or have you not seen all the highlights yet to judge? I'm not sure. Let me see. Toby Green was certainly in there from the game I watched with the Giants. He had a really good game. I'm not sure. I would have to go over all the highlights, go through the stats. I don't know who they'll give weekend player of the weekend, but fantastic stuff anyway. Thanks for tuning in anyway. That's my live review. Anybody got any questions or any stuff they want to talk about? I don't know if I'll get any reactions done. Mason Cox hurt his eye, not sure what happened to him. Not too sure myself. Maybe a blade of grass kind of just tickled him, or a gust of wind went past him. I'd imagine it wouldn't be so sinister enough, something that sinister, to hurt Mason Cox. We all know my feelings on this man right now. But serious note though, I hope he's not injured. I hope he's not hurt his eye. You don't want it to be anything too serious, but he shouldn't be playing. He really shouldn't be playing. How will Rangers do? They're playing today against Kilmarnock away on a plastic pitch. We never did well against them last season, but they've got a new manager. They've lost a couple of players, Kilmarnock. I think Steven Gerrard's bringing some good additions to our squad. I think we're looking good for the season. Celtic have just went and won 7-0 yesterday against St Johnstone, but I actually said before a ball was kicked this season, St Johnstone are going to be a very, very poor. I think Rangers will get the win. I actually said to a boy in my work, I think it will be 3-0 as well, so thanks for that, Aqua Fire. Yeah, that's right, Leon. So, tip them for the league. I actually think Rangers will do it this year, but it's about producing the goods. It's about producing the goods on the football pitch. You know the story. It's the same as what you say when you get into knockout tournaments or you're in the MCG on grand final day. It makes or breaks players. So the pressure of playing for big teams can be too much for some people. The weight of that individual team, see, like teams like Rangers, I don't know if it's the same in the AFL, like where big teams, historical clubs that go out there and win things quite a lot, like West Coast Eagles, I suppose, Hawthorn, big teams that have been there and won it over the last couple of decades. The weight of that jersey might be too heavy on some of the younger lads' shoulders. And I think that's what people experience when they come to Rangers and Celtic. The weight of the jersey is too much for them. But I think we'll do it this year. Stevie Gerrard, he's the man. Put $5 on it yesterday, on Palace to get relegated. I'm not sure. It's a good shout. Of course, 3 teams can go down. Norwich have only spent £1 million after getting promoted. I'd imagine they'd be finding themselves right back down there in the relegation battle. They did win the championship, but it's a big step up from the championship to the Premiership. And only spending £1 million doesn't look like the actions of a team that's going to try their hardest to survive. Do I think AFL is biased to Victoria teams? Good question. I don't know. I mean, if I was going by what people say and all the social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the rest of it, when you look at Seven Sport and Fox Footy, the stuff they're putting up, posts they put up, a lot of people would make you feel that way. I think a lot of teams have to travel a lot more than what Victoria teams have, so because there's so many Victoria teams, they find themselves playing a lot of their games in and around Melbourne a lot more, so the travelling's a lot less. I think it's biased though. I don't know enough to make a comment on that. I think a lot of fans would make me want to believe it was biased, but it's not something I could really comment on. I don't know. I do feel that they like Richmond a lot more than any other club. I do feel that a lot of the media outlets in Australia seem to have a love affair with Richmond. I don't know why. I just feel that they're always putting out stats out there that favour Richmond, but you could do that with a lot of teams. I would agree with a lot of comments this last couple of weeks though about Richmond. They're certainly put themselves right. It's biased. I'll leave it down to you guys. You probably know more than me about it anyway. I think if you're a team from Western Australia, you would probably feel that way, given the lengths you've got to travel. If you were basing it on that, then I would probably say you would feel that way. Yeah, I think you look at the Victoria teams as well. They've probably got the biggest history as well, so therefore they've probably won the most silverware over the years. People hate success. People, I wouldn't say jealousy, but they're a product of their own success. If you win so much and you have a great history, people will ultimately put you on a platform where they'll poke and prod at you, and they'll. It comes with the territory of being a bigger and more historical team. I think it's the same in every sport. I think if you're a team that's been more successful than others, the teams maybe that haven't had as much success in their history will always have a kind of I wouldn't say hatred, but a dislike towards those teams, such as like Carlton, probably Collingwood as well. Teams like that there that have probably been there, done it and bought the jersey over the years, haven't they? And yeah, on that basis maybe, but as I say, it's not for me to comment just yet. That's a good point, Dylan. I mean, yeah, it has been based basically on the VFL as well. And if you look at the teams in South Australia, I don't know how great the competition would have been there for. You could probably tell me a little bit more about a port of one. You've said 36 is an astonishing number. 36 premierships is before. What was the competition like in South Australia? I don't know. I mean, when you look at the teams in the AFL now, there's a lot more Victorian teams in it, so it's really all I know. I can't really comment outside of the AFL. Yeah, Docker fan Freo played extremely well. It's about time they got a victory. Is it Ross Lyon that's in charge? His job's definitely. I don't think he's going to resign. I think he'll stay in that job, even against probably the Freo fans' wishes. I think he's ran his course as coach there. They need to try something. Yeah, Ross Lyon. I think they need to try something new. There's times there the Dockers can play unbelievable stuff. Walters is brilliant to watch. Brad Hill, I believe, had another phenomenal game. So they said he's everywhere. That's one of the comments I like to make about him as well. Sing a wee song about Brad Hill. He's here, he's there, he's every fucking where. Bradley Hill, but he really is. When he's on his game, he's up the left wing, he's up the right wing. He's back, he's forward. He puts up tackles. He's got a Rolls Royce of an engine underneath his bonnet. He doesn't stop running. Fantastic player when he's on his day. But when the big players for Freo aren't on their day, they're really hard to watch at times. It's just like they give in so easily. There are a lot of empty Guernseys out there sometimes, and they don't produce the goods. And I think a lot of that's down to the coaching as well, how they're set up. And I do kind of think it falls at his feet. Yes, a lot of the players need to take responsibility for their own performances because big players there at Freo. You look at Lockie Neal's now went to the Lions, and he's arguably the best player in the whole competition. But huge loss. I don't know how you can recover from losing somebody as good as him. He was at the Dockers, I think, for 7 years, and he is an unbelievable footy player. So maybe not having him there with Fife and other players in and around that midfield, into the rucks and all that there, is a big blow for the Dockers. But certainly Ross Lyon does have to take a lot of the buck for The form, they have got good players, really, really good players. In fact, Matera's a good player. What do you call the guy that went out injured there about a month and a half ago? I really enjoyed watching him, but he's out now for the rest of the season. I can't remember. Can't remember his name anyway at the Dockers, but he's been a big blow as well. He was very much instrumental in a lot. He kicked a lot of goals as well. He was instrumental in the way they were playing. When I was watching them, when they were actually really good to watch there for a while, he was at the forefront of everything that was good as well. But good win for the Dockers. I don't know. I mean, let's see. Where are they in the ladder now? What did I say they were? They're 10th now. Rory Lobb. No, it's not him. It's not him. It's another player. I think he was a forward. If he wasn't a forward, he was half forward or something like that, just in behind the forward. But really enjoyable player to watch. I can't remember his name now. I'm going to have to Google it after this to get his name again. But he's out now, I think, for the season. How about I do Taberner? No, I don't. I don't. It's not those two guys, mate. I'm not too sure. I'll know it when I see it. Maybe he's not a forward. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but he just scored goals. Maybe he was a winger. I'm not too sure, but he scored goals. That's why I'm thinking. Hogan, that's the boy. Hogan. Thanks, Dylan. Hogan, big blow. Great player. Really enjoyed watching him. He was one of the reasons why I enjoyed watching Freo, actually. And when he's went out, I think they've lost their mojo a little bit there. Matera doesn't always... Hulk Hogan, absolutely outstanding player. Really good player. AFL interviews. I would love to do AFL interviews, but... I'm not sure how I would go about doing that. Have you got any suggestions about what I could do? Jesse Hogan, yes, that's the man. Absolutely brilliant player. Big blow to the Dockers, isn't he, really? Anybody got any more topics they want to cover? Hello there, somebody that's joining. Who's your favourite player right now? Question back to you then. Who's your favourite player in the AFL? Who's the player you think absolutely excites you? You just want to put it on a neutral perspective, not in terms of the team you support. But if you were just going to tune in and watch a game at the weekend, who's one player you go, I really want to watch this because he's playing? Who's that player that you're really enjoying watching right now? Not necessarily somebody that's up there for the Brownlow medal, but just a player, a flair player, somebody that just excites you, gets you going. You go like something like a Jared Cameron or Charlie Cameron, or who's the young lad? As a young lad, Hill is at the Giants. I really like watching. I forget his first name now. Young lad, he's just coming on the scene now for the Giants. Absolutely, he is going to be a player for the future. He's came into the AFL this year too late, I think, to do anything in terms of a Rising Star medal, but certainly next year, he's my tip to be an unbelievable player. Really, really enjoyed him. Patrick Cripps. Oh my word. I can't say enough about the man, Patrick Cripps. I personally think he just edges it over Lachie Neale. I think Lachie Neale's probably got better quality players around him that are doing it right now. I think Patrick Cripps has got quality players around him as well. Make no mistake about that. As I say, Carlton have a lot of young players that are good, but I feel that it's just too early for them to be able to go and just do something. And I think you look at the Lions, it is just happening for them right now. All the cogs have just went into place, and it's just now coming to fruition. The players are doing it. As I say, who knows? But Lachie Neale, probably in terms of that, there you would say he has got the more experienced players around, just a little bit more experienced players around him. And for that, I would probably say people might favour him, but for me, I cannot see past Cripps. I can't. Special players, Rose and Duursma, I cannot argue with that. Absolutely outstanding young players. Young Walsh at Carlton as well. I don't know what his stats were, but I think the AFL posted something up about him. The guy's a freak of nature. I absolutely love watching him. Brodie O'Neill, how's it going, mate? Bad weekend for you. 5 wins in a row, getting defeated there in unbelievable fashion from the Power. He's an Essendon fan, a Bombers fan. Commiserations on the defeat, but I'm sure you'll agree the Power were absolutely outstanding. I think Essendon just were shell-shocked. They just got boom. They didn't know what hit them. They got bombed out of it. If you're a bomber, you got bombed back. The power just shocked them. A lightning bolt just shocked them. Just a few puns there I'm trying to throw in there for the two teams, but absolutely brilliant from Port Adelaide. 126-67, Brody. But you're still in there. You're still 7th in the ladder even after that defeat. It's not all doom and gloom. I seen an unbelievable mark from Anthony McDonald-Tipungwuti in that game. He is capable of these moments of magic, but it's not enough individual brilliance on the day to do anything. Obviously, the talking point, Xavier Duersma's goal from the boundary line, about 40 metres out, and the celebration in front of the Bombers fans, the old bow and arrow. He is a confident young man, and rightly so, because he's a fantastic young talent. I love watching him. Oh, you're not Brody. Who are you? You're all Hawks. Oh, sorry, mate. I've got a Brody that is actually an Essendon fan as well. Maybe it's not Brody O'Neill though. I'm getting confused. Sorry about that, mate. Hawks fan. Well, how did you think? What do you think of your weekend's game, mate? 86-64 against North. Ben Brown had a great game. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't like to get people wrong. I pride myself in getting to know the people that are subscribers of the channel, so a little bit embarrassing moment for me there, but anyway, thanks very much anyway for saying it's alright. But so the Hawks then, they've dropped down a place till 12. They're still not massively out of it. It can still be done. North, they're in 13th, not much between the two teams in the ladder now, but I think Ben Brown was frightening, wasn't he? A really good performance by him. I don't know if he kicked 4, did he? Just wondering if you've picked out a side to support yet. I'm not going to lie to you. The last game there, purely because I tipped Bulldogs to get into the top 8. I don't know if it's going to happen now after today's defeat, but I was actually hoping that they would beat the Lions the last game, because the Lions are already in there. I think their spot's pretty secure there in the top 8 now. But you don't get a bad game with the Bulldogs. Whether they win or lose, you do not get a bad game. And I love watching their performances. There's some great players for the Bulldogs. So I was kind of hoping they would win. I don't support them, but they are a team I enjoy, along with a couple of other teams as well. I really enjoy watching. I could go through the teams if you like. I don't barrack for everyone, as you would call it. Called it early, Dogs, Rangers, red, white and blue. I mean, I did kind of spot that with the red, white and blue and think, oh, I like that. And then the Bulldogs, obviously the British Bulldogs, I'm British, aren't I? So it was easy to draw those comparisons. And I looked into a little bit of the history of the Doggies. They were financially struggling. I think they went in administration. Their fans saved their club. A lot like what happened with Rangers as well here in the UK. So there's a lot of similarities to be drawn between the two sides in terms of that kind of thing. But I like the dogged performances that they have as a pun that I use, because it's the best way to describe them. They fight, even in defeat, they fight. They fought today. They were unlucky today. And I thought they let themselves down. I've already covered it in my review of the game. I was only a small review, but they've kind of let themselves down. I think they hurried the stuff that they tried to do. They were forcing it too much rather than relaxing, taking a split second to have a look, lift your chin up, pick out a pass, kick it to a player in space, rather than hurrying it and putting the forward under pressure. Like some of their kicking was short, the player was having to run to try and retrieve it, and the Lions were just cleaning up in and around their defensive 50. I'm not going to say I'm going to end up being a Doggy supporter. I like that fighting spirit. I do like, even if you get beat, I like a team that fights for the Guernsey, fights for the badge, fights for the fans in the stadium. That's all you can ask from your team, even if you get beat by quality. And I think that's what's happened. The Lions have that little bit more quality to go out and do it. Charlie Cameron kicked 4. There's the difference right away, isn't it? Hipwood got 2 or 3 as well. They just kicked, and you believed they were going to kick it. Whereas when the Doggies get the kick, you didn't believe, unless it was somebody like Naughton. I think he's convincing in front of goal as well. Tell you what though, I mean, Bontempelli, he did kick one, but he actually missed one as well, so he's not that, as I said, just forcing things too much there, in and around the goal square, in and around the forward 50. They just rushed it, and it let them down. It let them down against Collingwood as well, but as I'm going to get back to my previous point, they drag you into a fight, and I love that. That's why I love footy. Like, make no mistake here, I'm not a Bulldog supporter. Let me just go through my tipping for this weekend quickly, and this is why I love this sport. You'll struggle to find a better sport anywhere in the world for this. Absolute unpredictability, competitiveness throughout is incredible. I backed the Hawks to win, North beat them. I backed Essendon to win, Power beat them. Backed Giants to win, they won. Backed the Cats to win, Dockers won. And these were all favourites, bearing in mind I tipped the favourites. Not deliberately, just because I thought they would win. The Dockers beat them. Tipped Richmond, they won. Tipped the Crows, they won. And all my Sundays tips came in. But some of them were close fought. West Coast Eagles against Carlton wasn't a massive victory. 4 goals in it. Well, I suppose it was a big enough victory. But the Lions won by 18. Real big fight there. But obviously Collingwood smashed Gold Coast Suns. I think you could probably pick a team from the Victorian League that could probably go out there and possibly give the Suns a game right now. I think they threw in the towel. I think they've gave up. It's an embarrassing state of affairs, but good for Collingwood. Good time for them because they're getting the percentages up as well. They're not going to be in any trouble, really. Think they've been stricken. If anybody, I'm going to actually give a couple of positive comments about Collingwood here, and I'll tell you why. I think they had something like 26, 27 players to pick from throughout their whole squad. There's so many injuries, so many big players out, of course, suspensions as well. They've not recovered from Jaden Stevenson being out. They're relying very heavily on the likes of De Goey to get their goals. Cox isn't doing it. I think if you look at Grundy is the Pendlebury's huge. Obviously, I think Pendlebury's the best player, but Grundy for me is an unsung hero. I think Grundy. I'm not going to go for Collingwood. If I was going to go for a Victorian team right now, if you're going to put a gun to my head, it would be the Doggies. And it's not for silverware. They don't. Well, they did do it in 2016. If you're going to put a gun to my head, right now I'd say the Doggies. I think a lot of people want me to go for Essendon because they draw up the thing of the Dons. Also, I've made previous comments how I like the red sash Guernsey, and I like Anthony McDonald tipping Witty. I like Richmond as well, the footy they play, but I don't support them. I don't support anyone. It's just, I love the sport. I think it's refreshing to see such competitiveness throughout. And you know what? Long may it continue. I cannot pick a team. Obviously, as Dylan said, it was easy for me to go red, white and blue, the Bulldogs. Obviously, I've been given a Frio Guernsey as well. I've got friends, big friends of the channel as well, that support me from day one, really. Port Adelaide fans as well. So I love their theme song. I like their players. They're a young side. They're potentially one of the best teams in the AFL in the next year or two. Definitely a team not to be taken for granted. If they can add one or two, I think there's the rumour of Fantasia wanting to go to Port Adelaide. Look, there was a rumour as well there. I think that there's a couple of senior players possibly going to the Gold Coast Suns. If that can happen, I'll be delighted for Gold Coast because they deserve it. Collingwood have 85,222 members. So what you're saying to me, Leanne, is they don't need another one. They're an established club. I like backing the underdogs. Throwing another pun there. The doggies, the underdogs. You're all putting me into this thing now. I'm going to back them. But I just enjoy them. I think Chris Hemsworth was in the crowd with his father and Liam Hemsworth. Thor. Hammering folk out there. It wasn't even in the Marvel. He was out on the away day in Brisbane at the Gabba. Brisbane Lions form, I think they've won 8 out of 9 or 7 out of 8 at the Gabba, so that is a place no team wants to be going to. They've made it a fortress. What a sport. What a fucking sport. I absolutely love it. I love it because it's so competitive, it's unpredictable. Two key words if you're going to take anything away from my channel of why I love this sport is them. Unpredictability and competitiveness. Across the board, it's frightening. Like Freo absolutely demolished number 1 in the ladder, and Freo couldn't buy a win. Everything was looking terrible. I know they won last week, but you know what I mean? They've very much been a team that's really been struggling over the last, 5-6 weeks. Fun fact you may not know, Brisbane were merged from Melbourne. Fitzroy, I did actually know that. That was the case, and Brisbane as well. So two teams merged there that I've mentioned in the last 2 minutes there, obviously the Bulldogs, Footscray and Fitzroy for the Lions. I actually do know. I think my historical knowledge is improving as well. That's another thing I want to touch on this live stream then. I had one guy calling me, what did he call me there recently? He called me a fraud or a fake or something. He called me a fraud and a fake, and that I was actually an Australian. I wasn't Scottish and I didn't live in Northern Ireland. I live in Australia and I'm an Australian being fake and trying to rip off Australian fans. Well, do you know what? I take that as an unbelievable compliment. It shows that he must think my knowledge is absolutely outstanding. So he must think that I've got good enough knowledge that I'm an Australian. I can be passed as an Australian. I must be brilliant at putting on a different accent. An Aussie that puts on a great accent. And do you know what? I must live in the most rainiest part. If you look at some of my photos on social media, how cloudy and dry it could be. I must live in the cloudiest part of Australia and the wettest part of Australia as well, that he thinks that. But compliment, mate. Thanks very much for that as well. I had another guy saying, shut the fuck up. I've did a Cyril Rioli reaction. Shut the fuck up, mate, and watch the video. You might actually learn something. I must admit, Leanne, you've not been quite as coarse as his comment, but you've kind of said it as well. Just don't talk through the videos. Listen, you'll learn something. I'm guilty of that, and apologies for that. I get excited when I see good things, and I feel like I just want to say something. But if I do remain silent, it's like I'm not doing anything. And that's what I struggle with. That's why I struggle with reactions. Because if you want to see a reaction where people remain silent, I think you're probably safer watching an American where they'll go, awesome. I've discussed that before. I just fucking let rip. I let my emotions out. Passionate human being. And somebody's put up the beer. I fucking love the beer. I was on the beer last night and the whiskey. If you follow me on Instagram and my Facebook, I've done a couple of wee daft stories. My wife was away out to Belfast for a night out with her friends from work, and she was on the drink, so she's dying the day. But I had a few beers. I was watching the children. They were out playing. They had some snacks. They had some sweets, and they had some crisps and stuff like that there, and a bit of fizzy juice. And I was on the beer and the whiskey, trying the whiskey, but I put it on. I think Evan, did you see it, Evan, mate? On my story on Instagram, just a bit of fun, just having a little bit of fun because I couldn't get too drunk. Thanks, Peter. I'm not a fan of them either. I have actually, since this point, watched a couple, and I find them to be, I don't think they give a lot out back, and I try my hardest to be real, normal, and I really struggle to shut up at the best of times. So to sit quiet through a reaction, I find really, really difficult. It is something I do need to find a happy medium and listen to where points that I need to listen to, and actually react when I should react. But it's finding a happy. People do ultimately find this channel down to my reactions I do, because they're searching a video of something that they've watched before, and up I might pop with a reaction to it. So that's ultimately how I'm getting noticed in the broader AFL community, is through doing reactions to players, doing reactions to games in the past, or Buddy Franklin kicks 13 goals or something like that there. That's how my channel's getting noticed, is through reactions. So they're vitally important for the channel to grow. But as I say, I do take the constructive criticism, and I do need to learn from it because it gives better viewing for the audience as well if they can see me actually learning something from it as well. But the guy actually said, "Shut the fuck up and you'll learn something." Since that video, in fact, I have learned an awful lot. If you've been following my channel from the Cyril Rioli reaction I did to now, I think you'll agree with me that my knowledge on the sport is absolutely night and day. I know an awful lot. I do feel that his comment was very valid though in what he's saying. Like, at that time, I didn't really know much. I'm kind of guessing about the things that I'm saying in the Cyril Rioli video. So he has got great points there. He could have probably given it a little bit better, but I'm easy going. He can tell me to shut the fuck up if he likes. It's all good. As long as they don't say that to any of my subscribers, then I get annoyed because I'm the one on the platform. At the end of the day, I'm open to criticism, any kind of criticism. But when I see it happening to some of my subscribers, I don't like it, and I usually end up getting rid of folk. I don't like doing that either because everybody's entitled to their opinion, but don't get too personal. That's all I'll say. I had some wanker, I'm going to use that word. What video was it? My daughter had done a video and he said something recently about her. I kind of laughed it off, but I asked him what the hell he meant because he says, "Shut up, little girl, you're very annoying." Like, as a father or a parent or somebody who's got maybe younger siblings that's maybe watching this, you don't like seeing criticism of children. I mean, screw the nut, mate. It's not very clever or big. You know, maybe one day you might meet me and might have to retract that statement. You know, it's embarrassing for you, not for me. All I ask is just be a little bit more polite if it's a video involving my children. So, as I say, I'm big shoulders, thick skin. I can take any criticism you throw at me, but if you're going to throw criticism at my children, think twice, because it might see you removed from the channel because it's personal. That fair enough, a reaction might not have been good, I don't know, but still, come on, she's fucking 9 years old. It wasn't an Australian. I feel it might have been somebody from Southeast Asia. I'm not too sure what country, but it was based on a Japanese cartoon reaction we did, some of the anime things. So yeah, I don't know if you're watching, mate, but kindly remove your comment. That's all I'll say on the matter. But anyway, thanks very much for everybody that does say positive stuff. It's always greatly appreciated. And so is the criticism as well. Going back to the point that says, Leanne, you told me it was about the 2010 grand final. I got your comment after I actually did the reaction. It was about try and listen to the commentary because you'll learn about the build up to the game and everything that's happening in the game and details in which draw in a grand final hasn't happened very often, and when it does, you kind of need to. Dylan, mate, help me. What is a flog? Because I see loads of people mention it on Facebook and Instagram. He's a flog, or such and such is a flog, and I don't know what the term means. Is it a slagging? A toss is a flog. Brilliant. All right, well, a lot of players are getting called that there on a loser. So somewhere in between a tosser and a loser. That's all right. So when I'm looking at Facebook and Instagram now, I know exactly what they're talking about when fans are doing that. They are absolutely superb. Brilliant stuff. So I don't know, I think I had one with the SCG. I was going to do a reaction this week. I did a few reactions this week, but I've actually been trying to do a little bit behind the scenes, different sports on the Donna World Sports. That's probably why my AFL stuff, reaction wise, on the Don's channel here has been a little bit less. So I'll look into maybe doing a few more of them. I did the 5 straight Bombers comeback wins. I probably cursed them with that. But I've done that there. It was actually quite good though. I wouldn't say they were massive comebacks, but it was a good video. The AFL posted it this week and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do that because the Bombers have showed a little bit of fighting spirit. Albeit, as somebody pointed out, they weren't huge comeback wins. The biggest one, I think, was North Melbourne, where Anthony McDonald, tipping Wooties, kicked that ball from freaking the tightest of angles right in the last minute. It's absolutely outstanding. So there's a lot of different opinions of what a flog is. That's quite interesting. So you just can throw the word flog out there for different things. A flogging. Opposition getting beat by 50 or more points. So Gold Coast Suns got a flogging. Essendon got a flogging. That was it then. That was about it then for the weekends. Floggings. No more than that. Interesting. Thanks for that. Getting to know the terms as well is quite good for the channel as well, because when people are saying stuff, I'm not picking up on it, and I'm maybe missing out on stuff. Oh, Dylan, mate, join the dark side, the power. You're going to get abused for that, Dylan, mate, and I'll tell you why. They'll be going, typical Port fans. I think I've seen it on another one. Thanks very much for that donation again. Really brilliant. Really appreciate that, mate. Join the dark side, power. I do like the power, you know I do. I do enjoy watching them. But I'll say you will get abused for that now, and it's because the last time you did that, they said you were trying to buy our support. Port Adelaide fans are trying to buy my support. I don't see it that way. They're just generous people, and it is a place that I'm going to visit on the channel as well. I've already said that as well. Our first trip possibly won't be next year, but it'll be the year after, 2021, where we'll come around summertime UK, wintertime there, obviously. June, July, I think it'll be 3 or 4 week holiday, as I've already mentioned quite several times now. Adelaide is one of the places, although my wife says, Great Barrier Reef, I says, up the Gold Coast, Brisbane then. So I don't know what to do now. She's threw that one in there as well, so that could add an extra week onto the holiday. And added a little bit more expense onto the holiday too. Go Adelaide, it's awesome. It is a place I'm really, really wanting to go. I've got quite a big following from Adelaide, which is really, really nice to see. I've actually got a lot of following from Perth and Western Australia, which is quite disappointing for me, because I know I'm not going to be able to do that on my first trip. Of course, I'm doing Melbourne as well. I would hope to do a bit of Sydney. Thank you, Leanne. Thanks very much for your donation. Really appreciate it. With a cup of tea. Cheers. Cup of water. Had a few beers. You know yourself. It's like you're a wee bit delicate. I think it's only about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning here. Perth is better than Adelaide. Well, I don't know. I've never been to either, but I'm sure they're both as good. Really good places to go. But just with it being so far away, I don't think we'll get going there on our first trip. I think you said South Australia Championships is 36. Is that right? Port Adelaide have 36. 8:26 p.m. So thanks very much, Leanne. Cheers again for the donation. Really greatly appreciated. You've been very kind to the channel in the past as well. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. I don't like to kick the arse out of the live streams because people are donating, and I don't want to get accused of doing things for money. You know that I do my roundups anyway. So I think I might make it a weekly thing. Sunday, do my roundup, my fixture roundup, the results on a Sunday, and put that into a live roundup then. So if anybody wants to do things like super chat and donate, it will be on a Sunday. Of course, if there's any big things happen, I might do a live stream, but I'll always post it on the community section and on the social media things if people are happy enough for me to do it, because there's no pressure there in donations, but they all go a long, long way to helping the channel. They really do. It boosts the account thing on YouTube. So thanks again. Very, very appreciated. I do work hard for it, and you said you deserve it. But as you well know, everyone here in Australia love our AFL viewers. Yeah, really nice comment saying I deserve it. I do work hard on this stuff. I do try my best to give you better content, and I feel that I have to, because you know what you're talking about, and for me to be able to give you good content, I need to get my shit together and know what I'm talking about. That's so when I say I work hard, I really do. I'm watching older footage as well. You know what I mean? Come to Adelaide, bottles of wine. Does that say $2? No way. I drink Australian wine actually here, but you're not getting it for $2. I could tell you that. My word. I'm not joking. $2, $10 for 5 bottles. Where are you getting them for $2? Is it the cheap stuff, like, or is that decent stuff? Right. I'll tell you Australian wine you'll get here in the UK. If I just went down to the off license right now, I would get Yellowtail, I would get McGuigan's, I would get Hardy's, I would get. There's a few other companies there. I've went Bargain Bin. I'm happy with the Bargain Bin. Everybody likes a good fucking bargain, don't they? What percentage are we talking? 13.5%. Paint stripper for $2. What's a nice bottle then? Aldi, you have got Aldi and Lidl's as well, haven't you? The German supermarkets. People actually look down their nose at these supermarkets when they first come to the UK, but they're actually becoming the fastest growing, because German supermarkets, if you don't buy the branded stuff, people go, it's quite expensive for the branded stuff. But if you buy their own produce, you can get real good bargains in there, and they've actually become so popular now. Lidl and Aldi are starting to take over. We have big supermarkets like Asda, Tesco, and Sainsbury's, and Morrison's. Marks and Spencer's is a really expensive range, but they're an older one. But I think everybody now, with it, tougher times now, isn't it? Really, people are shopping and are not bothered about doing saving on their groceries as such, and buying less branded stuff. And you know what? You wouldn't even notice a quality difference. I work in food production, and I know for a fact that if you're buying a branded item, you're buying the same thing with the supermarket's own make, because they're actually making it for the supermarket but putting the supermarket's label on the packaging. So you're actually being ripped off if you buy branded produce. I don't know why people do it. But for things like wine, obviously, it's different. But you might actually get cheap bottles of wine that are nice. I know Lidl and Aldi do some real good stuff. They really do. Even in the UK here, you can get wines, and you can get gins, and you can get vodkas and whiskies and whatever you're into, really, beers that are actually like maybe brands that you've never heard of. But when you buy them, you're like, that's fucking good stuff. My wife likes Prosecco, Italian stuff. That's quite a big thing here in the UK right now. I don't know if people are drinking Prosecco in Australia, or if you just stick to the flat, normal wine. But yeah, I'm into the ales and the bitters, really. Beers, ales, and bitters. That's probably what I would prefer to drink. I did have the whiskey, and I'm not a whiskey drinker, really. Got to drink Victoria Bitter, innit? Yeah, I've got to. I will drink it. I will definitely drink it. Fish and chips are better than ours. I can't comment. Have you tasted fish and chips in the UK or Scotland? If you've not tasted fish and chips in Scotland, the way we deep fry things so unhealthily, then you need to. So I don't know. I'll have tasted Scottish chippies, and then I'll have tasted chippies in ours once I come. So I'll make that assessment then. Until then, I'm saying nothing, because I will trust you. But mate, my question to you is: have you tried chip shops, fish and chips in Scotland? Have tasted Scottish fish and chips. Comparable, honest. Where in Scotland are you? I lived in Fife on the east coast. You'll have heard of the Arbroath Smoky, the smoked mackerel. They do that there. I'm not really a smoked fish lover, but that's quite a big thing there. But fish and chips in Scotland's enormous. And I imagine in Australia it is as well, but it is something we pride ourselves in too. But in Scotland, we batter and deep fry Mars bars. We deep fry pizzas. We do burgers that are battered burgers with cheese in the middle. Battered haggis supper. I mean, we are absolute chip shop gurus as well, so I have to remain on the fence with your comment. I haven't tried your fish. I mean, obviously you're saying it's nice, so I appreciate your comments there. Something that it's the type of food I like. I like burgers, fish and chips, chicken, normal food, no fancy stuff. When I go to fancy restaurants, I don't know what to order, and I'm always underwhelmed at the size of the little portions and the price of the meal at the end of it. They give you a bill and you're like, "Are you fucking joking? That's the bill, and you're still hungry when you're leaving." So I don't like fancy restaurants. I like beer and burger, bar and grill. That's the sort of food I like, and that's what I think I'd imagine you're liking in Australia as well. So good stuff. Try a Chico roll. What's that? Sounds good. Chico roll. Sounds quality though. Sounds good. Gonna say it's probably a spicy chicken burger or something, with chips. Oh, Chico rolls are yummo. I want one now. I could eat one now. I want a chicken burger or something. Is it a deep fried chicken, Aussie style? Boom. You get obviously southern fried stuff. It's obviously America, the deep south southern fried chicken here. Loads of that here. But I've never heard of a Chico roll. There is actually an Australian restaurant in my town. There is an Australian restaurant. It's called Uluru, and the food is lovely. It is quite an expensive restaurant, but it's lovely food. I'm going to ask them, do they have a Chico roll? Chicken salt in the UK. I'd imagine they have it. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there and ask for the Chico roll. Chico, am I saying it right? Chico roll. Because there's no C, so chicken salt. There's an Irish pub in Perth, and oh my god, the black and white pudding. I don't know what they do, but it's a lot better stuff than you get at the butcher's. I don't know what they would do. It's probably got more fat and more salt in it. That's probably what I'd say. Chick-o. Oh, these are all making me want to... I actually want to fucking go there now and get something to eat. What time is it? Oh, I feel like that. 'Cause I had beers last night. I feel like I want to eat something real greasy. Sounds good. Christmas time, barbecues on the fucking beach. Unbelievable. What the fuck? Barbecues on the beach at Christmas. It's fucking heaven. That's my type of food though, burgers. I never really got that. My brother's more into the more cultural type eating meals and telling you what's in it. I don't know what's in food. I just know I like it grilled or fried on a huge roll with loads of sauce, hardly any salad, and fucking like tobacco onions on it or something. Huge onion rings, like pulled pork on the top or something. Boom, a burger like that size, you can barely get your mouth around it. And a pint of Guinness or a pint of beer and fucking chips or garlic fucking chips or something like that. Yeah, that is what dreams are made of. Simple things. That's all I want. That's the shit I eat. Southeast Asian food is good. I quite like the look at some of the Southeast Asian food because I've got a lot of friends on the channel here from Malaysia, and some of the food that they're eating looks unreal. Like, does really look good. That's a good tip there. Hi Kate Nixon, fish and chips at Old Mill in Scotland. Pitlochry. Pitlochry's actually not far from where I'm from. It's on the east coast, just in Perthshire. A good place. They are similar. Thanks very much for that. Beetroot is an... Oh, that comment's away. I'll wait till it comes back up. Beetroot is an all traditional Aussie burgers. I like beetroot. I've never actually had it on a burger, I don't think. What do? Do you fry it? Beetroot is horrible. Beetroot is horrible. Beetroot and burgers is horrid. You're getting destroyed for that one, mate. They're saying we don't want it in our burgers. Beetroot is sweet. I actually like it in a salad. The rare occasions that I eat a salad, I don't mind it. It's alright. But in a burger, I don't know. I've never had it. So Evan, couldn't agree more. Unpopular opinion about the beetroot there, mate. But definitely going to ask about the Chico roll. Sounds great. They've actually, that restaurant, I don't know if any of you were on the live stream before, the Uluru restaurant in our town here, serve. Chief Rockoff, thanks very much. Come to Adelaide, mate. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely fantastic. I really, really appreciate that, mate. $10 donation. Unbelievable. Really, really nice stuff. I'm definitely going to be coming to Adelaide as well. Dylan is actually one of the people who's been supporting the channel for a while now as well, like yourself. And there's Dylan. What's the name of the park again that we're going to go to? You were telling me about the koalas and kangaroos in it. You can go. It's like a petting type zoo, a petting farm or something, and you can meet Australian animals there and feed them and stuff. I think you said. Can't remember the name of the park, but it's in Adelaide as well, so it's one of the reasons why I want to go. The Adelaide Oval is one of the places I want to go as well. Really class looking stadium. Malaysia, come. Malaysia is a country I plan on visiting as well in my life. I think it was one of the places in my channel that we were going to go and visit first, but the AFLs literally took over. I love the sport. I love it that much. I'm getting a lot of people from Australia supporting the channel now. I think it's probably one of the biggest viewers of the channel. Indonesia was number one viewer of the channel up until recently. I would say Australia is probably number one in terms of viewing, but financially supporting. Australia has been absolutely so generous, and they're really helping the dream of coming to Australia for an AFL vlogging trip. And go the Crows. So I've got Port Adelaide and Crows. I've actually got another Crows fan as well who's sending me Crows merchandise, I believe. I don't know. So I'm going to have Port fans and Scots established Adelaide. Really? I know that there was a Scottish, I wouldn't say general, or maybe he was don't know what his position would have been. Certainly went over there, had a position of authority anyway, and were colonising areas in Australia. There was Scottish people doing it. I thought New South Wales or somewhere like that there was quite a few around there maybe, but I'd imagine there's loads of key Scottish influences all over Australia. That's why I think I love the country as well, because of our close links in history. I love history. I love Scots history. And America as well, we had a huge part to play in Canada and America, the Commonwealth countries. I think that's amazing. I'm part Scottish. Brilliant. Do you know where about your family is from? I think we might have, like, Viking Scottish. Where are you from? Like up round Orkney or the Shetlands or something? MacLeod. I think you told me that before. Just forgot about that. MacLeod's a huge Scottish name, isn't it? You'll have your own tartan as well. The Kith and Kin, if you look up, you'll get to see your own tartan and your own clan family crest. So I don't know if you've got that. If something, the Isles of Scotland, I think you might have told me about that. If it was Viking, I would imagine it was quite north, up towards the Shetlands, which is a lovely part of the world. And once a year up in the Shetlands, they actually carry the longboats down through the thing and then burn them like the way the Vikings would have done. Their Viking burials were like that, weren't they? Viking clap, bro. Did a video of my Viking clap. It's fantastic. Roy Sterling MacLeod. Sterling MacLeod. What a Scottish name that is. That's cool, man. Thanks very much for that little bit of history as well and your family. And as I say, I think this is why I love the Australian vibe. And if you look at, I've got a Malaysian guy there commenting as well. The Commonwealth country, Malaysia. Really, really important country to the UK as well, and I really appreciate my Malaysian support that I get as well. I really, really love the Commonwealth countries, but obviously, if you look at the kind of role I think the British would have played in Australia and colonising it as such, and Scottish involvement, I think that's why I think it stands out a lot more than some of the other countries. South Africa was probably another one as well for that. Actually, Scottish. Evan, you've got Scottish grandpa, sorry, yeah. Cool. My family, I want to get your comment. My family came from where Scots royal family is Tallentire. Tallentire, do they have a town named after them at all? Scottish royal family. Wow, there you go. You're actually of royal blood. That is incredible. Royal blue blood. Hi mate, hi Barry for joining. This has been a good chat so far. An hour and 14 minutes. I need a cup of tea I think now. But I also need a Chico roll. Yes mate, fire away. Ask my opinion on something. Family, you have the Tallentire family plaque. That's cool. See if you could. Do you follow me, Andrew, on Facebook or Andrew, mate? Do you follow me on Facebook or Instagram or any of them? Because I'd like it if you could send me the picture of the crest if you've got it, the plaque. That would be nice to see. Both of my parents were Scots. They met here. Wow. Look at that there. So near enough everyone here's got Scottish. Can Cats still win the flag? And who will get top spot? Of course, they can still win it. I mean, they're sitting top now, so they're sitting in a very strong position. They're certainly going to be in the top 8, without a doubt, so they'll be in knockouts in September. Can they win it? Yes. They have lots and lots of quality. I don't see why not. I think they do need to sort of pick themselves up now. I think their heads are down a little bit. A couple of wins in a row over the next few weeks might be great for them going in. Do you believe Adelaide Crows can win it? Pies for Premiership, Leanne, 2019. You never know. They're still in the mix. Do I think you says the Crows can win it? Now that I think the Doggies were beat today, I don't think realistically that they can still get in the top 8. I think the Crows and Port Adelaide will be fighting. It could be an Adelaide team getting in there right enough now. So that'll be interesting to see. If you can get in the top 8, you can win it. That's just the way you've got to look at it, isn't it? It doesn't matter where you get in that top 8, you've got a chance to win it. And that's the thing you need to realise. You've got a chance to win it. I've never experienced this, so it's very difficult for me to actually have a great opinion on it. But as I say, if you get in there, you've got a fighting chance. Bougainville versus Croatia. I'm a bit of a bogan, aren't I? With a mullet. My sponsored mullet. That mullet has actually got a few sponsors now. And there was people last week. Leanne, you were one as well. And Diane, she's actually in America. She goes by the Mirror Girl. She donated, and I think you sponsored me my mullets. That's greatly appreciated. That has made actually quite a bit of money, that mullet. I'm really, really chuffed with it. Essendon needed it. Lost go the Dons. I think Essendon will be in there. Nice shirt, bro. Thanks very much. It's just a wee cheap t-shirt out of a sports shop. But thanks anyway. So Essendon, I think, will do it. Yeah, it was a difficult result for them. They've been absolutely smashed off Port Adelaide, but I think they've still got the quality to go and do it. They've still really got momentum on their side. I know they were beat, but they still can do it. I'm thinking about the mullet, but I don't know. Do you know something? Don't think, just do it. I absolutely love this now. So many people here are saying, I actually like that. That actually suits you. I like it. And I was actually preparing myself for the biggest slagging you ever seen in your life for this mullet, but actually people are enjoying it. Dogs won't make it now. I've got a feeling they won't. I'm quite disappointed. If I'm being honest, you know yourself, I've actually admitted it earlier on there. I wanted them to get top 8, but I think they've made it hard for themselves after that defeat today. They can still do it. I don't know if they will. I don't think they will. I'd like it if they could, but I don't know. Is to get a tattoo, laughing out loud. Well, I'll tell you something. I don't have any tattoos. Right? But I'll put this to you all now. I could get an AFL themed tattoo. Take sponsorships going with the mullet, coinciding with the mullet. But I will only do it for sponsors. and it would have to be sponsors that would go, right, I'm getting to Australia now for the AFL vlog. Bearing in mind I'm coming to Melbourne and Adelaide already, it could be a good thing. But I have no team yet, so I can't go a team. It has to be something ridiculous. No, your skin is precious. Quite a lot of people hate tattoos. I don't have any tattoos. Tattoos, quite a few people over here, I've got sleeves and all that there. That's silly, I know. No tats. A bumper sticker on a Bentley. I know, mate, I know. For a laugh, though, that's what I was saying. But it would have to be an outrageous thing like, hashtag save the Tasmanians. Something ridiculous. I wasn't aware the Tasmanians need saved, but anyway. I think the tattoo lost the mojo. It was worth a shout though. Somebody's mentioned you should get a tattoo. I don't have any tats. I think I've grew past the age of getting any anyway now. Like, I think it was something I should have probably done later on. I don't go to the gym, but I might start going back again. Why hang a picture on your body you would hang on a wall? What, the only tattoo is a Royal Scottish Military tattoo. Yes, for anyone joining, you'll probably know that I was in a Scottish regiment. I was in the British Army. I was in a Scottish battalion. Probably one of the famous, if not the most famous, Scottish regiments in the British Army, known as the Black Watch. I think that was one of the things I kind of hemmed and had about getting, was some sort of regimental tattoo on the arm, more personal type thing to me. But the Black Watch is the best. The Black Watch probably are one of the best regiments outside the kind of more elite battalions within the British Army. But certainly infantry wise, they're up there with the best. They've got one of the best histories, battle honours within the British Army. Definitely one of the most well respected within the forces and indeed the wider military world. I think the Americans, when we were out in Iraq in 2003, the actual Americans, because the Americans, let me put this into perspective for you. When I was in Iraq, the Americans had Mr. Whippy ice cream where we were eating ration packs, and we went to their camp and they've got Fanta and Coca-Cola, and we were drinking water out of a bottle that's warm because you've not been able to cool it down. Dust all over our faces, rough as fuck. While the Americans are all fresh and showered and looking really, really well. These guys didn't know what it was like to fucking rough it. They were pulling Mr. Whippy ice creams for themselves in their canteen while we were eating real rations and stuff, roughing it, and they were all looking at us like we were special forces, but we weren't special forces. But we helped them on an American operation at the time in Dogwood, where we lost quite a lot of boys. Actually, we lost, I think, about 6 boys overall up there. It was quite a hard time for us there, but the Americans chanted our names on the table, the Black Watch. So the Americans know our battalion as well. The Canadians have a Black Watch regiment. So as I say, they're held in high regard across the world. I'm sure Australians have probably heard of us as well. Mr. Whippy is for floggers. I'm not going to say anything too bad about the American troops, because they were there as well. They were away from home. They were serving their country as well. And I respect anyone serving their country. But yeah, they definitely did get it better than us. I had an American general coming up to us and goes, "How are you boys doing for cigarettes?" And I looked at him and I says, "To be honest with you, sir, we don't have any. We've got no cigarettes left. Everybody's freaking struggling, rolling real thin roll-ups and passing it amongst each other because you had nothing left." And the next day, the American general, actually, he drove away from the camp in his Humvee, and it blew up. The wheels blew off a roadside bomb, the general, but he survived, thank God. But his Humvee got hit in a roadside bomb just as he left us after talking to us. And the next day, we were dropped in from the Americans 20,000 Marlboro cigarettes Just like that. That's how the Americans do things. They open up Pizza Huts and Subways and McDonald's and Burger Kings. They've got it all. When they go on operation, they bring America with them. Their logistics are second to none. They are the most superpower on the planet for a reason, because they're just unbelievable. But I can't deny how much I enjoyed the stuff that they've got in terms of what we've got. We roughed it. I actually worked with Australians as well. Great soldiers. Quite a few women was there as well. They were working the more clerical side stuff, but they were out on the ground as well with us, actually, believe it or not. But their camouflage, I quite liked the Australian camouflage. And there was quite a lot of people who actually talked about leaving the British Army and joining an Australian Army. He says, oh, you get better wages and you get a swimming pool in Australia. If you get married, you get a swimming pool in your house and all the rest of it. I don't know if that's true, but that kind of stuff is completely unheard of in the British Army. You get the bare minimum. You just know how to soldier on with nothing. But the Australians are quite similar as well. You've not got all the best of equipment like the Americans either. You know how to soldier with the basics of stuff, and that's what makes you better soldiers. And you've got that mental ability to soldier on when the chips are down. And you're roughing it, you're really going through it and still pick yourselves up and have a crack a joke and have a laugh. And that's why I think Australians have that similar mentality to the Scots, because you can do that. You can have a laugh when really you should probably be crying, but you can still laugh and joke with your mates. The banter never dies, and I think that's what we've got similar. Absolutely fucking love it. Australians are tough buggers, and they are tough, and I think that is probably something that the Scots, we've got that in common. I would like a fucking swimming pool though. Do you know what I mean? Swimming pool. I would just like the weather to be able to have a swimming pool. Australia and Malaysia sibling, and I know Malaysia and Australia do joint military exercises annually, jungle training. I don't know if they're doing it in Brunei, Borneo, or Malaysian part of Borneo, or if it's in Brunei, but they definitely do jungle training together. And the Malaysian jungle experts help train the Australians in jungle warfare, and vice versa. They help them in other sorts of things as well, ways of shooting. Absolutely brilliant. I love watching all the military videos, and obviously two Commonwealth countries, so they would work closely together. I've got nothing but respect for Malaysia as well for that, so thanks very much for that comment. That's true. Not a lot of people might know that, but that is actually true. I trained with 303 rifles. Cool, mate. I'm not too sure. How many infantry battalions is there in the Australian Army? Have they got a big infantry? Because I know that what was it, 25, 30 million people in Australia. I don't know how much your defence. Not got a big infantry, but they're well trained anyway. Obviously, more compact in numbers, but certainly well trained to a high standard, which is good to see anyway. And you've got some of the most powerful friends in the world, haven't you? Had a clapped out Bren gun. Even had a prep. What was it? What is a Bren gun? Is it a machine gun? I'm not too sure. I've never fired one of them. Just waiting on that comment. I'm not too sure what a Bren gun is. Actually, I'm not familiar with it. Heavy machine gun. I thought it was when you said a Bren gun. I was thinking that's a machine gun of some description. We have the GPMG, the General Purpose Machine Gun. It's 7.62 millimeter automatic weapon. It's heavy as fuck on your shoulders. It's usually a platoon weapon. One man has to carry it. But I actually carried in deployment a light machine gun, and I swear the amount of ammunition I had to carry for that, it was agony. And the heat of the desert with all this ammunition on your back, and the crap boots they gave us. My feet were blisters. The blisters were getting blisters. They were bleeding my feet, and we were walking for miles in this heat with all this ammunition on my back and the heavy light machine gun, going for miles, doing patrols. It was a fucking killer. Absolute killer. I've done some exercises in my life. Sniper. I was indeed a sniper as well. Did mention that in a previous video. L96. It was. You've just put something up, Dylan. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but you've just posted something up. I will check it after this. Twitter feed. I'm starting to get a bit hungry now as well. Kangaroos with guns. Oh, there's some stuff that I did in my time physically. Well, one of the hardest exercises I ever done was actually in the Falklands, and I was carrying about over 100. I think it was about 110 pound in weight, which is about 50 kg, give or take, 50 kilograms, and then my personal weapon on top of that. And we're reenacting the Royal Marines and Parachute Regiment's march tab into battle, or YOMP as they call it in the Navy, tactical advance to battle, when they were going into the Falklands War. We reenacted that 100-mile, I think it was, 100 kilometre, I think it was 100 miles, walk with all the equipment on our back, but we actually carried more equipment than they did in the normal day. It was torture over rock pools. Rock pools are just everywhere in the Falklands, and the wind down there at the South Atlantic is like nothing I've ever experienced. The wind just cuts through you. You were getting windburn. You were actually getting sunburn because there's no ozone layer. Well, very, very thin, and the sun just burns you in about 5 minutes. You're raw skin with the wind and the sunshine coming through. Factor about 400 on your skin. Burning like fuck. A white peely willy Scotsman going down there and just getting burnt instantly. But it was amazing nature down there. Penguins were just popping up beside you, wild. Seals were popping up, killer whales, fucking everything. It made even the shittest angler or fisherman good, because the waters were just teeming with life. We were catching mullet. You're catching mullet. Mullet, I swear, is the tastiest fish I ever tried. Straight from the sea. Cast it in with a little bit of, I think we put some steak on it. Put some steak in, and seals were popping up beside us and penguins beside you as you're standing in the sea, just fishing away down there in the Falklands and catching mullet like 9 and 10 pound every single time. It was amazing. Lovely experience, but very, very physically demanding, very hard. Probably one of the toughest things I ever done physically. I'd done a couple of platoon competitions as well in Northern Ireland that were very, very demanding as well. Some really tough stuff, but going across terrain with heavy weight on your back for about 100 miles was character building stuff, as they would say in the army. Really, really stuff. But good experiences, good stories to tell, as I said. But I think it molds a young man from possibly going down the route of trouble and crime to turning you into a better human being and a worker, you know, giving you a little bit of working mentality and putting you on the straight and narrow. It turns a boy into a man, really. And I look back at that with great memories as well. But I'm kind of glad I'm out of it now. But I do miss certain things as well. And it's certainly to do with the camaraderie, or I think they call it in Australia, mateship. The Battle of Long Tan, you'll see that word getting thrown out there quite a lot. Mateship. This movie's coming out on the 8th of August in Oz. So, some really good stuff. Seem hotter than the temperature. Tassie in the sun. I don't know, you'd probably get quite heavy winds down there as well. Tassie, would you? So, I'm going to probably call this stream a day now because I'm getting hungry. I'm going to get a cup of tea as well. So thanks very much for everybody who's joining. For everybody that donated, absolutely thank you very much. Greatly appreciated, really do. Never take it for granted, as I always say. It means a lot, and it really does help with our target of getting to Australia sooner rather than later. And multi-city trip of Australia as well. So you do need funds for that, and all these things will mount up. Every little helps as such. And as I say, thanks very much again for everybody who's chipped in before, or people who's chipped in for the first time. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. I might make this a feature anyway, a live stream on a Sunday, because after the game on Sunday, there's not really an awful lot to do other than talk footy. So it's great to kill two birds with one stone, going through the thing and doing a live stream at the same time and talking to people. I absolutely love AFL chat. I don't really have many people I can talk to here that know what they're talking about in AFL. There is several people that has actually lived in Australia and went to a lot of games. There's actually people here that's played it, but they're not keeping up to date with the games as such like I am through the weekends. So to get talking to people about it is really, really enjoyable. Really good fun. So thanks very much. And from a Malaysian friend that joined as well, thanks very much for joining. Really enjoy a little bit of Malaysia chat there as well. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you soon anyway. Goodbye.